The Trump administration's steps to dismantle USAID has drawn sharp criticism and some concern from Democrats. Here's Maryland Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin.
I'm hearing from my constituents who work for USAID and USAID contractors in Maryland, in Washington, all over the world, and they're telling us that this is a killer in terms of their cutoff of HIV and AIDS preemption. It's a killer.
Let's bring in International Development Project Manager Keith Ives. He has also served as a contractor for USAID by measuring the effectiveness of its programs. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us. Walk us through your reaction to the administration's latest actions.
Completely shocked. I don't think any of us saw this coming. And you heard the representative talking about the impact globally on lives, on infrastructure, but also on U.S. foreign relations. And those damages are yet to be seen and yet to be counted. But what we're not hearing a lot about is the impact on American jobs and American businesses as well.
What could those impacts be on business?
Absolutely. Well, USAID doesn't deliver these programs and activities that you're hearing about. U.S. small businesses, U.S. firms, and U.S. nonprofits are actually contracted to deliver those programs. And so without the USAID infrastructure, hundreds, if not thousands, of USAID companies and nonprofits are losing their pathway and their ability to export our services, our goods, and our values like democracy and free markets.
What do you say to Republicans who look at the history of this agency and they say it was started by an executive order and it can be ended or curbed with executive power? And that's just how it works if you're not really mandated your power by Congress.
Well, I'm an economist, so I'm not going to dive into the law or legal elements of it. But what I'll say is every 4 years, the priorities for the agency change based on the incoming administration. The USAID is and its contractor base is well adept at shifting to those priorities. And what most of us really want to do is get back to work, pushing U.S. foreign assistance and pushing the U.S. Agenda forward. And the full stop, a full-sale stop of all work globally isn't benefiting the American people. It's not benefiting the administration, and it's leaving a lot of us on the brink of having to close the doors of our business.
What about international aid when it comes to the balance between the private and the public sector? How do you see the difference there? What is the need and necessity, if any, to have a federal agency directing aid versus having it, say, come from a private foundation? What's been the evolution of that dynamic in recent decades?
It's constantly shifting. One thing that is unique about USAID compared to a philanthropic organization or a foundation is that USAID is there to push forward the interests of the American public. The taxpayers are putting their money into this, and it pushes forward this life-saving work. But it's not just life-saving work. It's also a critical national security asset. This is the way that we counter China, that we counter Russia. This is the way that we form the opinion globally of what it means to be American and what the American people value. And that's not necessarily the role of philanthropy. There are great foundations that are out there, and they're saving lives, and we want to continue to have those benevolent folks and organizations do that work. But there's also space for USAID and for the government to push our foreign affairs policies forward and our initiatives forward, but also take actions like in global health and in food security that we know actually comes back to the benefit and safety and security of Americans.
What about USAID now being potentially under the purview of the State Department? What does that mean for its future?
Old wine in a new skin or new wine in an old skin. I'm not sure that all of us completely understand what that's going to look like. I think what matters is that whatever they're going to do, wherever they're going to put it, whoever's going to sit at the top, that we get moving. We cannot afford to have a full 90 days, a 3-month pause on all of these critical programs. So whether it sits under state, it resumes its autonomous posture, it doesn't matter to me. and probably doesn't matter to the beneficiaries of these programs and our partners, our bilateral partners. What matters is that we get moving and we get back to work.
Keith Ives, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.